If you believe you have a problem and you are seeking change or betterment in your life, it has nothing to do with the art of discipline or mastery, for you are already masterfully so. And if that is true, but you still insist you have a problem or just want to change, then the math and logic simply says that what you are currently and masterfully disciplined on, your habits that create your habitual existence, then that is the problem. Now, for the sake of transparency on what you will get out of this video, I intend to convince you that you have already mastered discipline in your life. And simply stated, if you now insist on changing, then you only need to redo and remaster discipline in new form. You must first consider what, why, and how you are masterfully disciplined. That equates to your current habits. Then identify what is preventing you from new masterful discipline, the inevitable fear and doubt. And then break down and substitute your current level of mastered discipline in life, again, your current habits, for a new set of mastered discipline, your newly desired habits, and there you have it. Not to be overthought. Cliche Jeff guarantee. By the end of this video, you will be on the journey towards whatever new master discipline change you crave for your life. Now let us first begin our journey with me defining discipline and mastery in simple, relatable terms, as it's important to have a baseline. Discipline can be defined as to train oneself to do something in a controlled and habitual way. I say again, to train oneself to do something in a controlled and habitual way. That is discipline. Knowing that, would you not agree that you currently live your life however you live your life? Not judging, critiquing, or labeling. But don't you live in a controlled and habitual way? Again, before answering this to yourself, it is imperative and of great importance that you remove the emotion, as I am not talking happy, sad, right, wrong, indifferent, satisfied, fulfilled, unfulfilled, desirable, undesirable, or dancing with the devil. Beep, 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 bop. The direct question is, would you not agree that your life is very much predictable in language? And if that is so, that equates to controlled and habitual. And therefore, you are undeniably disciplined in your current life. Mastery. That can be defined and summed up as the following: routine, habit, or patterns that do not require conscious effort to perform or to complete. Obvious examples of mastery: not requiring conscious attention for effect. Think tying your shoes, riding a bike, brushing your teeth, your commute home every day. None of these things would require conscious attention. And most you can probably honestly do with your eyes closed, and therefore would be considered mastered and also disciplined habits. Moving forward and with this information, the question then is, what is preventing you from change? The answer, for sure, multi-layered. But let's start again re-emphasizing the overarching premise. If your entire life, which means what you do today and every other today you get, because that's all life is, a stack of todays. You are already, as we know, a mastered, predictable, disciplined routine, and something to the high level effect of 8 hours of sleep, 8 hours of work, and 8 hours of whatever else completes you. You complete me. Because that is all the measured day allows for. And because we have that measured day, that then creates subsequent routine, discipline, and mastered comfort. Because like tying your shoes, you don't have to think about it. Your day is your day pretty much every day. Now, our conundrum and quagmire becomes and begins when you consciously decide to change something or anything about your day, as it brings you out of that unconscious, mastered, disciplined state of being, which is again routined, and comfortable, thereby creating emotional and cognitive friction. Translated, when you think and envision change in your mind and body, the emotion of feeling and fear or feeling of fear and doubt elicits, if for nothing more than it deviates from what is already known. Let me briefly explain. When you consider change as a human, it opens your mind's door to imagination and fantasy land. You, of course, see the ultimate utopic and euphoric self, because who imagines a worser self? Which feels amazingly good, because who wouldn't want that version of self? That is why you want to change. But now simultaneously, as you see far out into fantasy land, a path, a map, and a road to the other side naturally begins to formulate, which is inevitably dark, distant, distorted, and not nearly as clear as the end state, the end of the road goal. For it is one thing to know where to go and quite another to know how to get there. This can be simplified as the potential transition from known, what you are today that is predictable, safe, mastered, and disciplined, to unknown, what you would like to be, which is unpredictable, scary, unmastered, and undisciplined. In a bit more granular detail, let's begin to play out the significance of your current mastered discipline routine, which is your lifestyle, and how this flows from a mind state perspective. If you again consider everything you do throughout the day, because it's routine, controlled, mastered, and disciplined, it is therefore emotionally regulated, meaning routine comfort, fearless, not as in you're fearless, but as in lacking fear or has the absence of fear, uncertainty, and doubt. The main reason being because it's predictable and routine. That is a level of master discipline, because no one can live in the emotional state of constant flux and uncertainty as that would be defined and true and absolute chaos. The significance is to say that all of us, regardless of perceived social stature, require a definably predictable, mastered routine to ensure we are emotionally and consciously regulated. Therefore, changing anything about that current mastered discipline routine is by definition to deregulate yourself emotionally, because now you are coming to consciousness and awareness of all that is unknown, which is therefore away from the known, albeit towards the utopic or the ultimate utopic and euphoric self. What is happening is that you are now confronted with that dark, distant, distorted map, path, or road. It is in the seeing and simultaneously not being able to see, resulting in fear, anxiety, doubt, stress, overwhelm, and a litany of other fear-derived emotions. For you can see, but you can't really see. Solely off the basis that whatever I do decide to change, I am subsequently now exchanging. Hear me out. Comfort for discomfort, mastery for unmastery, disciplined for undisciplined, unconscious for conscious. And this is fear and doubt personified. And I think, again, important to note, this has nothing to do with how you specifically define your ultimate utopic and euphoric self. This is part of the social conscious conflict that permeates. A higher choiced self has nothing to do with lavish material or fame. Simple and plain. Some desired change that aligns with wanting the world and everything in it, Tony Montana. Some just want to be happier in solitude. Point being, anyone and everyone who makes a decision to deviate from one's current routine, mastered, and disciplined patterns experiences this emotional regulation and deregulation process. Let's keep talking it out and a keep it simple example of how we go from regulated to deregulated and the dramatical conflict that ensues in our minds. Let's just say that the reason you are not where you want to be in traditional high-level narrative is because you are procrastinating, stagnating, and lazy. Okay, fine. You no longer want to be associated with procrastinating, stagnating, or being lazy. So what do you tell yourself? Probably, likely, somewhat obvious. I want to be fit and I want to be in shape. And fine, that is quite reasonable. But now what ensues is likely the following. Seeing yourself as fit and in shape is the door opening of the conscious mind to see yourself in fantasy imagination land. You envision yourself fully equipped with six-pack abs, bulging pecs, firm glutes, and on and on and on. And as you are fantasizing on the imagination of this ideal state, the logic tells you we can just substitute procrastination and laziness with working out. Sounds simple and great, but it is in this moment that you are then confronted with conflict, since you know you can't take a pill and wake up jacked. Your mind starts formulating a map, path, or road between where you are now and where you want to be. You can see, but you can't see, which naturally, that end state feels like it's forever and a day away because it is not at all immediate. And therefore, again, you can see, but you can't see. Why is that? Because the distance between now and end state appears dark, distant, distorted, and not nearly as clear as the jacked you. Thereby, the emotional regulation and deregulation war commences because, well, what exactly is procrastination in your routine, mastered, disciplined life? Oversleeping, binge watching, doom scrolling, drinking, smoking, socializing, and even daydreaming, as you are probably doing right now. Point of emphasis. You might know in your heart and soul that these aren't serving your higher self, but try replacing these. I'm sure you have done that before. And when you try and replace, what happens to your mind, your body, and your spirit? Your emotional regulation, it gets thrown off. It dips into the pool of unknown fear, certainty, and doubt as the minute you activate towards changing anything, you are emotionally deregulated. So you tense up, lock up, and freeze. Collapse the vision of the ultimate utopic and euphoric self, thereby removing the fear and anxiety of the dark, distant, and distorted road. You point back to your master disciplined routine code, what you are today. Nothing changes. So now what do? If we insist on changing, you must first accept the deregulation process and go through what I would say is a conscious withdrawal from your everyday life. You have to withdraw from self-doubt and hurtful inner conversations. You have to withdraw from social consciousness built around critiquing, judging, labeling, and complaining. You have to withdraw from your forms of procrastination, stagnation, and laziness. You have to withdraw from blaming your past. You have to withdraw from blaming your parents. You have to withdraw from blaming your environment. You have to withdraw from being distracted by your current mastered and disciplined routine and self-insufficiencies. You have to objectively look at how you live your today and decide to move towards a new regulation, because that is what this is. As some would say, the most efficient, maximized, fulfilled, or self-actualized person is not end result oriented in so much as they are day-to-day oriented. If the map, path, and road to the end state creates perceived distance, the only logical question should then be, how do you shorten the road? And the answer is to do what you always do. You live today, but you need to shift living today as you would when you reached the end. Ask yourself, who are you at the end of imagination land? Worry less about the road and just know that you must travel. Then, meticulously map out your today, your day. What can I do today? How do I want to feel today? How do I want to behave today? How do I want to win today? How do I want to live today? Mind map today, as it is not the end goal that provides the reward, rather the pursuit of perfection of process that allows you to become. Think about it. Try it out. Don't just take my word. Test yourself. Pay attention to what is really happening moment to moment, because the main routine, discipline, and mastered relationship that is likely screaming for help is the one you need and can control, and that is the relationship you have with yourself. And on the cliche days when you don't feel like it, remind yourself that you have already lived a life you don't and didn't really feel like living. And that only got you what it got you. Tap into your soul. It's there. It speaks if you listen. Just win today. Change your mind, change your life. I am who I say I am. Stay rich.